Hello, in today's video I want to go over some modern decks that are actually done in an old artistic style. These are decks that I would consider possibilities for using in the SCA, that's the Society of Creative Anachronism. And so these, while they're not actual period decks, they could pass for period, possibly, depending on the group that you are with. The first deck I want to go over is the DaVinci Tarot. This is a newer tarot, came out with Lo Sorbeo, and these are what the cards look like. They're most of them are composites of various DaVinci art. So what we have here is the Fool, the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. They all have this sort of odd grayish greenish cast in this deck. Here's the Ace of Coins, the Five of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. Let's see here. Make sure we've got space for all of these. And then, like the face cards, start with the Page of Pentacles. Here's the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Staves. And again, this is the DaVinci Tarot. It's kind of a nice one. It's a little heavy on the sepia and green tint, but that does make it look a little bit older, not quite so garish. So that works quite well if you're looking for a period deck for SCA. Now the next one, the reason I'm trying to get these all lined up is I want to just lay these on top of each other. It's called the Giotto Tarot. Giotto is an artist from the mid 1300s, and we didn't have tarot back then. So this is another artist. His name's Guido Zabordi, and he's just working in the style of Giotto, and it's supposed to be a very medieval, this would be like a 1300s style art. Again, we have the Fool, here's the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. A little more color in this deck, but it still is subdued. It's quite a nice looking deck. Here's the Ace of Coins, the Five of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. The Page of Coins, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the King of Staves. I think this one would go really well as a period deck, and it's also a little bit more colorful and pretty good illustrations, although they're a little bit different from what you would expect if you're used to reading like a Rider-Waite style deck. Now the next deck is actually called the Medieval Tarot. Again, this is a modern artist's interpretation of what a medieval tarot would look like. This one's quite a bit more colorful than the others. Here's the Fool card, the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. Here's the Ace of Coins, the Five of Cups, the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. the face cards, starting with the Page of Coins, the Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the King of Wands. A little bit more color to this one. It's also a little more stylistic. I don't know that I like all the tile on the face cards, but that's what it is. It's a nice deck. I haven't actually used this one very much at all. Now, the next few decks, well, this next one is an interesting deck. These first three are somewhat Italian. They all came from Lo Scarabeo, which is an Italian-based printing company. Now this one is the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. The artist was a miniatures artist with enamels. It's quite an interesting deck, very colorful on all black backgrounds. Again, this is the Fool and the Chariot, the Devil, which has an uncanny resemblance to Stalin, the Sun, the Ace of Coins, Five of Cups, Six of Swords, Ten of Clubs. This follows quite closely to the Weight deck, where two of the cups are overturned and he's got the others are upright, and people in a boat with the Six of Swords is very common imagery. There's the Page of Coins, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Clubs. So if you want something with more of an authentic Russian feel to it, this is the direction that I would go. Now this next deck is not available. It's from a self-published artist, and it's an amalgam of other older tarot decks, and she has put over the top of the imagery what looks like it's faux aging, basically. So here's her Fool card. Oh, it's called the Deck of the Bastard, so you can probably look that up online, and I just ordered it directly from her. I'm trying to remember if this was an Etsy store. I believe she has an Etsy store, but if you do a Google search on Deck of the Bastard, you can find this deck. So again, this is the Fool. Here's the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. I know both of these two cards came out of an Etiella deck. Here's the Ace of Coins, Five of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Ten of Staves. The pip cards are all Rider-Waite deck, and like on this Five of Cups, you can see the aging that she's done up here on the top. It looks like it's stained and been ripped and folded and etc. So it's kind of a neat effect to make it look older. Here's the Page of Coins, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Staves. I really like this deck a lot, and for SCA or Ren-Fairs, this is probably a deck that I would use a lot, just because I really like it. She has very tastefully done the aging look to the cards, so that's one that I would highly recommend. Next is one that's actually called the Renaissance Tarot. This came out in the 70s. A lot of people referred to it as the gay deck because it does have a lot of homoerotic imagery on it, as you will see. Here is the Fool, the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. And for pip cards, here's the Ace of Coins, the Five of Cups, Seven of Swords, or Six of Swords, excuse me, and the Ten of Wands. They're an interesting mix of having just the pips right out forward with smaller illustrations indicating the meaning, although this doesn't have a boat or any people on it, so it doesn't match exactly Arthur Edward Waite's or the Rider-Waite. There's a Page of Coins, the Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the King of Wands. Excuse me. I like this deck. It's a little pastel for me, or yeah, I guess that's the right word. Very light colors. But it would fit in with your typical Ren-Fair style cards. Now this next one is quite a fancy deck. It's called the Stairs of Gold Tarot by Tavaglione. He is one of the artists who worked on the reconstruction of some of the Giotto Tarot cards that were missing. And he decided after that experience to create his own tarot deck in the style of the 16th century. So here is the Fool card. This came out in the 70s, by the way. Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. Here's his Ace of Coins, Five of Cups, Six of Swords, Ten of Wands, and the Page of Coins, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the King of Wands. Again, these are just regular pip cards with no illustration in the middle, which is typical for older style decks. It is a very interesting deck. It's very finely detailed in the imagery, and it also has a lot of occult stuff built into it, with these different seals on all of these pip cards and the various Hebrew and zodiac and element designations on the trump cards. Now the last deck I want to show, it's called the Medieval Scapini Tarot by Luigi Scapini, and I actually may have got these reversed. He might be the actual artist who worked on the Giotto Tarot. I'll have to go back and look. I can't remember, because actually this deck looks much more like the Giotto deck, so it probably was him. Here's the Fool and the Chariot, the Devil, and the Sun. Here's his Ace of Coins, the Five of Cups, the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. And for face cards, the Page of Coins, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Wands. This is another one that I would probably be one of my main go-to decks for SCA events or Ren-Fairs, just because it looks very period. So again, just to wrap up, let me bring those decks back here. There's the Scapini, Medieval Scapini, the Stairs of Gold Tarot by Tavaglione, the Renaissance Tarot, Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg, the Medieval Tarot, the Giotto Tarot, the DaVinci Tarot, and Deck of the Bastard, which does not come in a box, by the way. It just comes shrink wrapped. But it still is a really cool deck, and I love it for period. And it's called the Deck of the Bastard. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Enjoy.